KW for 5. A couple days ago, Clan Outkick says he thinks the narrative is changing enough that ESPN might try to have Trump and Vance on game day, and he's going to try for big noon. Thoughts? Well, look, I 100% think that there is a narrative shift out there, and I think we've seen this from ESPN for a while to tell a lot of their people to stop talking about it because of how unpopular it is. Really, if you want to talk about ESPN decided, oh, well, this might not be the best for business, this is driving fans away, look no further than like dumbass Stephen A. Smith, right? Stephen A. Smith, who is he propagates left-wing talking points. He propagates racial division constantly. But then on the other hand, will go on somewhere else and talk about how, oh, you know what? The Democrats have just lost everybody. Now, even though he says he's concerned over DEI pushback during the Trump era, Stephen A. Smith has no problem going somewhere and talking about what a fool he feels like for voting for Kamala Harris. And this is repetitive. We're seeing a lot of this stuff. We're seeing a lot of walking back from people who have been bashing Trump, who have been totally on one side because they realize, not because they've fucking changed, not because their mindsets have changed, because they know it's not popular. So what do people like Stephen A. Smith do? They decide to backtrack on that a little bit. And so it looks kind of ridiculous when you see how much shilling these people have done in the past for this. Stephen A. Smith says, I feel like a fool for falling for this bait. We didn't actually elect Kamala to be the DNC nominee. She came out there like a rock star, but no one actually voted her. She never would have got it if we'd actually gone through the process. And now I'm sitting here feeling like a fool for voting for Kamala Harris. That's all well and good, but I think we've seen enough Stephen A. Smith to kind of know who he is at this point. And that's kind of all, to me, this is all a fucking ploy just to gain sympathy and gain more viewership back from the ones that they've lost over time.
Mm-hmm. He wouldn't be saying that if Kamala won.
No. And the thing is, though, I'm not surprised that Stephen A. says, like, he says he's a fool for voting for Kamala. If you actually listen to all his political tapes, he never one single time told you why he was voting for Kamala. Not one single time. If he did, it was like, oh, but Trump.
Yeah.
Not one single policy he agreed with Kamala on. Not one.
Exactly. But I do think, regardless of his flip-floppy, wishy-washy bullshit behavior, it is indicative of the reality for a lot of these sports news programming. Like Fox Sports, they're still letting their fucking retards over there like Joy Taylor, when she doesn't have a dick in her mouth, she's talking about Trump or bashing Trump. Not a very good idea. I think as terrible as ESPN has been about all this over the last several years, and as much as they have been responsible for pushing this shit down everyone's throat, I think they do understand how bad it is. There's a reason why during the national championship game on the night after the inauguration, they aired President Trump's message to both of the teams right after he got inaugurated, right? And there wasn't any comments about it. There wasn't anything, because I think a lot of the people that care about the bottom line and they realize they're continuing to lose money, I think they've put out a directive to stop being so antagonistic towards Trump and Trump supporters, because it's clear that it's popular. So stop pushing the audience away. Now, will all these people continue to fall in line with that? I highly doubt it.
It's going to turn around eventually.
Behavior that you know that's the way he's going. Go ahead, John.
ESPN will go back to going full Trump derangement eventually soon. It's going to happen.
I don't doubt it, but I do think that there has been a mandate to stop it with a lot of this shit.
And I believe the one thing that's probably going to really, really trigger them, Trump wrote an executive order to end birthright citizenship, and it got blocked. This is going to go to the Supreme Court. And if the Supreme Court ends birthright citizenship, ESPN is going to go nuts.